Hello everyone, we're back with another video, and today, if you hadn't guessed from the screen you're seeing right now, we are fishing. We're playing a game called The Catch, Carp Coarse, and I have to say, how cozy is this scene. I actually, sometimes, if I'm leaving my PlayStation on, I quite often put it on this just to have this as a background to what I'm doing if I'm writing or anything really, is because it's just a lovely scene. I really get, I guess, why people have fish tanks at home. So yeah, this game is The Catch, Carp Coarse, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going after the boss fish. Now these are very hard to find and catch. I've had this game for about a year and a half, and in that time I've played it for at least 100 hours, I would say, and I think I've only caught 6 or 7 boss fish in that time, so I don't think we'll get one today, but I do plan on making this a series, and I'm hoping that we'll catch one in the near future. So let me I think what I'm going to do first is just show and explain what boss fish are. Now on this game we have several lakes, rivers, and other types of bodies of water, and in each of these there are boss fish, which are all different kinds of fish, as you can see on the screen now, and they are basically very unique fish. They're very unique for their species, and each venue has, I think, around 18 to 20 of them. And today we're going to be fishing at, where are we going fishing? Here. We're going to be fishing at Jezioro Bisti. I'm not completely certain where that is. I think it's in Poland, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But some of these fish, they do have quite Polish sounding names, don't they? So yeah, I plan today to go after some of the coarse fish. Another day we might go after the carp, but I think today we'll go after the coarse fish, so that will include barbel, bream, chub, perch, eel. There's another perch, and there's pike, but I don't think we'll catch the pike. We won't really be using a bait that would catch a pike. And there's a roach and a rudd and some tench. So yeah, these are the fish we'll be trying to catch. We'll be setting up our tactics in a way that we hope to target these fish, and we will choose a location on the lake that should give us the best chance of catching these fish. So let's get into it. Oh, here we go. So it is in Poland indeed, and as you can see, I have fished here before, and if you look on the left hand side where it tells you about the lake there, the silverfish are tells you how many different kinds of fish are there, and I've caught 14 of the 17 different kinds. and the gold one are the boss fish, and that shows you how many of the boss fish you've caught. And as you can see, we have caught 0 of the 25 at this lake. Now let's read about the lake, shall we? It says, situated in southern Poland, ringed by the imposing Tatra mountains and densely studded with Swiss pines, it will take you at least 2 hours on foot to reach the rocky shores of Jezioro Besti. Now, I am almost certainly pronouncing these things wrong. I apologise. At 1400 meters above sea level, the air is thin and the water's clear, so your skills will be needed to be honed if you choose to tackle this tricky isolated venue, especially in winter when temperatures drop to a bone-chilling -7 degrees. One of the few Tatra mountain lakes to contain fish, Jezioro Besti has plenty of room for them to hide, with depths to over 50 meters and difficult access to precipitously steep-sided banks, offering only a limited number of places to find a safe fishing spot. Even then, you may find it occupied by a hungry grey wolf, or even a brown bear. Well, we'll have to listen out for that, see if we can hear those predators, of which there are many. Keep a watchful eye out for them. After all, you don't want to be on the menu, do you? Ooh. Okay, so the last bit didn't sound too cozy, did it? But the rest sounds pretty cool. Okay, so we're going after coarse, so we're going to go with our coarse tackle box. I think we will go with, well, we'll go with dynamic. We'll see what it brings, and we'll go at sunset, I think. Now, there's a map here, and I'm not going to fish in open water. I want to fish to one of these islands. I think we have a bigger chance of catching the targeted species that way. So we're going to ignore the middle of the lake. I think we're going to fish on the left hand side to the 3 islands there. We'll see what spaces are available there. So how is everyone? I hope that everyone is having a cozy weekend, or a cozy week, depending on when you're watching the video. I am recording this on a Sunday afternoon. We've had some incredible weather here in England. I spent a little bit of time sitting outside in the back garden, just enjoying the sun. And yeah, I just hope everyone's having a nice and relaxed time, and if not, then as always, I hope that the video helps you to find some calm space just for a little while. So yeah, I think we're going to go here to the bottom left hand corner, or I suppose that's the top right left hand corner, but you know, we look, those are the mountains we read about. But look at this area, it's such a picturesque area, isn't it? Where do we want to fish? So if we hold down the R2 button, we can run. I see some, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to target these reed beds here on the island, and we're going to use some bottom baits. We'll probably use some worms, because worms hit basically all of the coarse fish. using worms will probably cause a little bit of issues with carp, but hopefully we won't get bothered by too many of those. I'm not sure how loud my in-game sound is, but I hope it's not overly distracting, but also it's quite a lovely ambience, so I hope that it is actually loud enough to be heard. Now let's go and look at our setup. These are 3 rods that I set up in advance. I am not certain if 10-foot rods will be too big or not. We might have casting issues, which means we might have to change the rod to a shorter one, and I'm not certain that we are fishing on a gravel bottom, so we might have to change our hooks too, but we'll see. Now there are some huge carp in this lake, and if we hook one of those we're probably going to lose it, but as I said, we're targeting coarse fish, and they tend to be smaller, and I don't want to scare them off with bigger lines, so we'll start with this and we'll see how it goes. If we're not on a gravel bottom, I will change the hook. So yeah, let's see how this goes. See where that puts us. If it puts us on the island, we have to change. Okay, yeah. So let's change to a smaller rod. Let's go for let's go for this 8-foot bait shack rod, I think. Let's try that. We'll put it on all of our because this rod, if we read it here, bait shack compact rod coarse, it's for spinning and short range fishing. Bait Shack has developed the 8-foot compact rod for the mobile angler. The rod is very light, versatile, and can be used for margin and float fishing. It's a great tool for anglers targeting bream, tench, and roach, and they are indeed part of our target species. So now, oh, can you hear that? I guess that's a bear. It sounds like a bear to me. Nope. So I try to hit 90 or above. Okay, so we're in weeds, so we do need to change that as well. Now we don't want anything. So a lot of this game is about trial and error. So sometimes the things you try, they don't work, but that's fine, because eventually you'll manage to reason yourself out to the correct decision, and when you manage to do that, oh, my bad, I was wondering why I couldn't put the rod down. I hadn't claimed the peg. That's rod number 1. We're going to use all 3 rods. If I'm honest, I actually wanted to be able to reach the bank with these rods, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. But that's pretty close though, isn't it? I'm okay trying it where we are because, you know, it may work out. So let's try it that way. If it doesn't work, we'll switch it up. Now, I think that this is very definitely a cozy game. I've been thinking about the different types of games to play, and among them are Stardew Valley, Gems of War, fishing. I noticed there are some, well, quite a lot of strategy games on the market at the minute, and I think that they might be quite a relaxing type of game to try, so I'm going to try that as well, I think. So if anyone has any suggestions, please do comment and let me know. Now, that first fish we caught was a perch, and it came in very, very quickly and easily. So you can see it wasn't a very large one. This one's a barbel. Again, it's a common. It's not big for the fish that it is. I hope that we will be able to catch at least one specimen. I think that whilst we are looking for the boss fish, that's our end goal, but if we can catch a specimen fish on each trip, I would be very, very happy. And okay, so this is another perch. Perch are a predator fish. They're mainly targeted with worms and maggots, but they do sometimes take other baits that aren't live, like sweet corn. They're a very fun fish to catch. Now, if you look at the fin on the top of the fish, where the fins are there, on the very top of the fin, there are tiny little spikes, and if you handle a perch badly, wrongly, you can spike yourself with those fins. So if you ever do catch a perch, be careful that you don't touch the top of those fins. Okay, so 3 fish down. We've got 2 perch and 1 barbel. I think from this area, in general, we could probably catch a specimen barbel. I think that's probably going to be our main target. Wow, there we. Somehow we managed to miss the weeds there. So another try. Okay, so after changing our hook to one that more suited weeds, we've now discovered that we actually have gravel, which is what we had on in the first place. Okay, Let's try and catch this one before it. Okay, we did catch it. I thought for a second we might have lost it there. It's another perch. The perch, they don't give up much of a fight. It's another small perch. Oh, this is a carp. This is going to be a much harder fight. It doesn't look to be too big though. We might be okay. We aren't geared up for carp, so when we do hook one, it could be a pain, but we did okay there. That was not too bad. Now this looks like a ghost carp. It is a ghost carp. You could tell, obviously, because it has that very pale, smoky colouring. Luckily for us, they don't tend to be all that large, the ghost carp, compared to commons and other types. This one's just 12 pounds, which is well within our 20 pound line weight limit, so it wasn't too bad. Now, I'd really like to hear if people enjoyed this game. It's now we know there's gravel on this one, so let's change that. I'm really new to YouTube, and I am uncertain of the best genres and such like. I'm obviously mixing two genres in one here, doing gaming and ASMR at the same time. But I hope that we can make it work. I got some really encouraging responses from friends on my first video, especially from my friend Rachel, who encouraged me to carry on and make more videos, and I really appreciate that, and I'd like to thank her for that. Something I've noticed that I do a lot is I use the word a lot, and and as I say that, I do it again and again. So that's something I'm gonna try and work on not doing. I can't stop it. I just can't stop it. So I'm gonna try to limit that, and now I've mentioned it, I'm sure that people will notice it much more, but I will try not to do it quite so much. I certainly don't want to start every sentence with the word so I really hope that I got the volume levels correct for this one. The ambience on this game is fantastic, and I don't want you to miss out on that. It's very cozy. I think I could quite happily live in a log cabin in an area like this and enjoy myself a lot, just sitting out and enjoying the sounds of the wildlife and the sounds of the nature in general. I'm not certain what this is. It sort of looks like a carp, but it could also be a big bream. It's a big bream, wow. Look at that. Now here we call them the dinner plate fish. not because they're good to eat, but because of their shape. And you see they've got a massive long and wide body. I'm going to have to put this one back quickly because we've got another fish on. But the bream are, where I live in England, bream are heavily populated in our rivers, and my dad especially absolutely loves bream. He loves catching bream. They're very slimy. When you pick one up, they're very slimy. You spend 2.5–3 minutes after you've caught a bream just trying to get the slime off of your hands and off of your line. There's another perch. We're catching lots of perch, and that's our first specimen. Wow. Okay, I'm really happy with that. 5-pound perch. I actually expected to be catching more barbel than perch. We might need to put on a bigger worm, maybe. But that is our first specimen live. That's awesome. Okay. The bites are coming thick and fast. This one is diving into the weeds. This is chub, which is a species we haven't caught yet. The chub are a very long species. This one's nice and light, but here where I live they tend to be much darker than this. They can often grow to 10 pounds. If you catch a 10-pound chub, that's a very, very, very good chub. I think around about 6 pounds is a specimen chub. And they fight really hard. They are a hard fighting fish. They've got the most incredibly big mouths on them. They will take really big baits. Typically over here a lot of people use meat for them. You can use chunks of steak for them, yeah, it's a lot of fun fishing for chub. So let's now I wonder if we should change something. This third one is in weeds, isn't it? So let's change that real quick. And I think on this third one we're going to change the bait. So the idea here, because we're fishing on weed, we want a bait that hovers just above the weed so it doesn't get lost in the weed, so that the fish can find it. So I think what we're going to use here, we've got a hook that's buoyant, and we're going to use a buoyant bait. We're going to use some imitation red maggot, and I'm hoping that maybe we catch either another specimen perch, or even possibly a tench. We haven't caught a tench yet, and tench are by far my favourite fish, so I'd really like to catch a tench. Over on this one, let's switch up to sweet corn. Let's go with that. Let's try that. Okay, let's see how this goes. Now, it might not have been the best idea to switch up because we were catching very consistently. And there's that again. And if something's working, it's not often a very good idea to change it, but maybe something will work better. And finally, I keep hearing a bear somewhere behind us. I'm going to turn around in a second. If I ever get a chance. Now, this is the rod that we just changed, I believe. I think we just put corn on this one. This is fighting hard. This is probably a carp, I would imagine. Or it's something very big. Oh, this could be a big barbel. Is this our boss fish? Could this be our boss fish on our very first episode? Now, if you see, I'm working quite hard on the bottom left hand corner, adjusting the clutch on the reel. Wow, look at that. Is this a boss fish? Surely not. Oh, it's a specimen. Okay, it's not quite a boss fish, but it's a specimen. Look at that. 16 pounds, 15 ounces. Wow. Now that is a fish. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have time to admire it as long as I would like to. This is another chub. It's often quite hard to tell how big they are in the water. That last one, it was very evident that it was huge in the water, but some fish, particularly the smaller species, are quite hard to tell. And unfortunately, the fish on rod 3 got away. That's okay. When you catch a fish like that barbel, I think you do yourself a disjustice if you don't take a little bit of time to admire it, and you do the fish a disjustice too. There we go. That should be perfect. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to let these 3 rods catch a fish, and then we'll probably call it an episode. We caught 2 specimen fish. First we had a specimen perch, which we didn't really get to enjoy all that much because, again, we had 2 more hookups. But that's fine. Whilst it was a specimen, it wasn't a huge specimen. And then we had that wonderful, massive barbel, and I'm chuffed with that one. I think I did mention that I did think that it would be the barbel that we would be targeting the most in the spot and the tactics that we were using, and luckily for me, it worked out that we caught a specimen one, so and our weed tactics there seem to be working out. What's this? Oh, this is another different species. This is an eel. These are slippery things. They are the snake of the water world. They are very annoying to deal with when you catch one. They bite and they curl their tail around your arm, and they often swallow the hook way too deep, and then when they do that, it's a pain to get the hook out of them, because of course you don't want to leave them with a hook inside them, do you? So most of the other fish, they don't tend to swallow the hooks, but eels, they are a greedy fish, and they often will swallow the hook. So I make a point myself of trying to avoid them at all costs. Okay, let's have a look around, see if we can see any of those wolves or bears that the game mentioned at the start. I don't know if that's actually in this game, but it did suggest it, didn't it, at the start of the game, so maybe if you catch it just right you can spot one, but I'm not seeing one. Oh my lord, this is such a beautiful spot, and these trees in the mountains, they remind me a little bit of Bob Ross and his paintings, don't they? Wow. It's happy little trees. Okay, I'm going to put this rod down. We'll give this final rod a couple more minutes. In fact, let's put the other two rods back out, and we'll say that the next fish wins it. The next fish is the species of the day, and we'll leave it there. I, for one, are hoping that we catch tench, and that we don't catch another troublesome eel. If you've enjoyed the video, if you found it relaxing, please do leave a like, it really helps me, and subscribe. I'll be doing lots more videos. I've got lots of ideas and lots of games I want to try, and we'll definitely try this one again. We haven't caught our boss fish, so we're going to definitely go after it again. So if you wouldn't mind doing me that huge favour and subscribing, and if you have anything to say, any criticisms, any positive thoughts, then please put them in the comments below. I absolutely love to hear from people. It's got a bit quiet now, hasn't it? We at the start we were catching a fish every few seconds almost, and just this last 5 minutes it's got a bit quiet. Which rod do we think is going to go first? Which rod? I have my money on number 3. I think that the imitation maggot floating just above the weed, I think that's going to catch us a perch as our last fish. That's my prediction. Well, I see a splash there from a fish, of an unknown fish. I'd also like to know if people found this more or less relaxing than Gems of War. I'm definitely going to do more content on Gems of War. We'll definitely do what we did last time again, where we open chests at every single kingdom to see how many mimics we can find. I tried to tape my Guild Wars. Oh, there's another bear. I tried to tape my Guild Wars last week. I tried twice, and unfortunately the first time I tried it, it went horrendously. I did a very bad job of explaining what I was doing, and I did a very bad job of working out what I was doing. I was thinking too much about talking, and then I was thinking too much about the game. So I need to practice that. I need to get better at that. But I'll definitely try next time to do some Guild Wars. And the second time, I managed to knock my microphone over, and that was very not ASMR. So I decided not to post that either. I think we'll give it one more minute, and then we will call it a day. I just did have I had a wireless notification pop up. In my ears it was a little bit loud. I hope it wasn't loud in yours. Okay, so I was right about rod 3, but this is definitely not a perch. It is very strong, and it's going to go behind the island. No, it hasn't. I managed to stop it. I think this is a carp. I am almost certain this is a carp. Yeah, this is definitely a carp. There we go. This one is a leather carp. Now, the leather carp doesn't have any scales, and it looks leathery, so that's what makes it a leather carp. I'm very surprised that it took the imitation red maggot. Of course, carp do take maggots. They take maggots a lot, but I was expecting it to get sucked up by a roach or a perch. So yeah, there we go, there we have it. I hope that everybody enjoyed the video. Here's the summary of what we caught. We caught a lot of perch. We had a ghost carp and the leather carp. Of course, we had the specimen perch and the specimen barbel. We had a chub, and we had an eel. We did miss out on a roach and a tench and a rudd, but maybe next time we can catch those. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you have a cozy rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.